Yesterday, Champ Kelly sat down with the media. He didn't sit down with him. I think he was standing, but he had a presser. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to kind of talk about some of the things I want to talk about when I talk about them, and I'm going to talk about them during the bye. Talk about them. What is up, Finn fans? I caught myself saying talk about it a lot, and then I said, screw it, I'm going to run with it. And yeah, that's what that intro entailed. I apologize if you were like, Jesus, stop saying it. But yeah, Champ Kelly sat down. He didn't sit down with anybody. He was standing and had a presser in Madrid. So we're gonna have a conversation about what he had to say and some of the impactful things he said. I'm also really quickly, before we get into that, gonna talk about some of the videos that I'm gonna do during the bye, because we're gonna have a bye and there's gonna be some things to talk about. I said it again, but real quick, let's talk about a new sponsor. And if you are a nurse, if you work during the nights and you need sleep during the day, we're going to talk about the new sponsor, Manta Sleep Masks. Shout out to today's sponsor, Manta Pro Sleep. These masks are absolutely ridiculous. Now, if you're a nurse and you work night shifts, or you just really hate when the sun comes up and blinds you, you need to get yourself one of these Manta masks. True 100% blackout, blocks all light, even around the nose and sides for complete darkness. I got one of them right here. These things are absolutely ridiculous. Now, you can adjust the eye cups. So, it goes like this and you put it over your eyes and all that stuff, but you can adjust them. So if you're like, my eyes a little closer and farther apart, whatever, everyone's built different. Also, with your little set, you get a bag. These things, I've used them myself. They block the crap out of all light. Go check them out. Click the link in the description. And if you use the promo code DDW, you get 10% off your purchase. Go check them out. Fantastic Manta. If you're wondering which one I got, it's the Manta Sleep Pro Mask. That's the one I got here. Absolutely love it. Again, comes with the carrying case and the earplugs. Go check them out. And Manta, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Again, shout out to Manta. So what is going to entail? So the Dolphins play tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. If they win, we'll talk about something. If they lose, we'll talk about something else. There are some factors and some topics that I've written down that have intrigued me about this bye week, right? One of them being, what happens if there's no change, and kind of why would there be no change? For a fact, that's not where I'm coming from. I think there needs to be a change, but I'm preparing you for the instance where the Dolphins win tomorrow morning, they win against the Saints, and they win against the Jets, because if they play like they did against Buffalo, there is a very real possibility that they can win the next 3 games and be 1 game out of 500. And then all of a sudden you can sit there and think to yourself, well, is there a possibility we don't make any changes? So I got a video plan talking about why would there not be any changes, right? And maybe I'll throw in why there should be in there, but not throw it in the title. But I think you guys know why. My thought process is that. Also, there's some talk amongst the town of Dan Graziano kind of teasing a Kyler Murray Tua Tagovailoa trade 1-for-1. I will talk about that. And the draft class. I will talk about that. Now, I don't know if the draft class, I might mention the draft class in the why not to trade or why not to change, but apparently there's, and I was talking with Alan Poupart and he sent me the article, that there is an article coming out that a lot of NFL executives are looking at this draft class and saying to themselves, there's like 2 quarterbacks in this draft class. And, everyone who's sitting here trying to tank for a quarterback or think that this is the season to throw it, it isn't. It's actually 2027 because of the quarterback class and all that. So these are things that I want to talk about during the bye. Obviously, we got tomorrow's game, and then I'll give you the post game. I'll give you the Monday morning reaction to it. I will give you the film breakdown on Tuesday. I will give you my picks on Wednesday, and then instead of a Friday preview, I will talk about one of these topics. And then on Sunday, I think I will kind of do a recap of that week, or the Sunday's games, like I normally do on a day where the Dolphins don't play. And then Monday, go on to another topic. Tuesday, go into another topic. And then boom, we are back into our regularly scheduled programming, because then we get ready for the Saints. So that's kind of my thought process and my plan for the bye week. Also, I might be doing something with Teron Armstead again. I hit him up and I was like, hey man, bye week, you want to do something on my channel and your channel, and we're going to hash that out. So again, look out for that as well. So let's kind of go over what Champ Kelly had to say. So this is from the Miami Herald. They said, the Miami Dolphins seemingly value Champ Kelly's fresh set of eyes, analytic background, and his prior experience serving as an intern general manager. General manager. What in the crap is a general manager? General manager for the Las Vegas Raiders. That's why owner Stephen Ross anointed him as general manager chief Chris Grier's replacement when South Florida NFL franchise decided to part ways with the team's top football executive for the past 7 years. And he is not the only one that they parted ways with. You can go check out my previous video. I think it was Monday. It was a previous video where I talk about, it was Tuesday, because I did the film breakdown in the second half where I talk about that they made other moves that are very enticing. Kelly's now in charge of an uneven 3-7 football team that has been blown out 3 times, dominated 2 opponents, lost 4 games because of fourth quarter collapses. He was given no promises that he would become Chris Grier's permanent successor, but he has given the authority to do whatever he needs to transform the roster, ensuring that the 2025 Dolphins win more games than they lose in the second half of the season. So this is what Kelly had to say. He said, everyone is under evaluation at this point, myself included. This is a unique situation I'm in as an intern, because I can truly go to players and say, bro, we are in the same spot. I'm going out to win. You need to go out and win because of our future matters. Their future matters. Executives, coaches, and players all depend on the franchise turning the season around. That means they're all in it together. Shout out to High School Musical. If you know, you know. Yeah, that is a very open and honest assessment from Champ Kelly, saying everyone's under evaluation, myself included, 100%. And again, check out the video that will be coming out next week where I talk about that stuff. If I can meet with, this is what Champ Kelly had to say, if I can meet with them with that commonality, that vulnerability, you build trust, he said. The team that hoists the Lombardi, the trophy at the end, they have the most trust, and that's all we're trying to build. Oddly, Kelly became an interim general manager for the first and second time on Halloween. The Jalen Phillips trade to the Philadelphia Eagles, which produced a 2026 third-round pick, was the first Kelly made the call to tell a team a trade has been finalized. Yeah, I think I said that right. It was a rep in an area I didn't have. I appreciate every moment and every rep that shows the years of work and preparation pays off. Before the trade deadline, the Dolphins executive set a trade value for every player and took offers in a vacuum. Kelly said he spoke to every player whose name was generating interest in the trade market and told them the organization's position. This is what Kelly had to say. He said, when tasked or blessed with this particular pressure, there is promise inside of it. Kelly said, I just wanted to attack it with focus and fight. I've done my entire life. Kelly referring to being born the son of a drug-dealing father and a mother addicted to drugs. His parents were in his life. He was raised by his parents were in his life, but he was raised by his grandparents in Camp Belton, which is a small city in North Florida near Pensacola. He played quarterback at Kentucky, and when his playing career was over, he immediately went to work for IBM using computer science degree before eventually getting hired as a college scout for the Denver Broncos in 2007. That's where Kelly met, and that's where Kelly and McDaniel, who both came from Kyle Shanahan coaching and executive tree, first began to cross paths. So there is that familiarity between Mike McDaniel and Champ Kelly. Interesting. I am going to write that down. So they have worked together already somewhat, and they have come from the same tree of the Kyle Shanahan tree. Interesting. You're getting a bit behind the scenes of me taking notes for future videos. So this is interesting to me because that again goes into my thought process on why change might not happen and why I'm going to prepare you if change doesn't happen. And the fact that I just found out right now while reading this article with you that Kyle Shanahan, the Kelly and McDaniel both come from that Kyle Shanahan coaching executive tree and have kind of been together with the Denver Broncos in 2007 kind of makes it interesting, and why he was hired in the first place, and who hired him. Again, Omar Kelly, if you watched the Dolphin Collective yesterday, asked essentially who hired you, and he didn't get an answer that he was expecting, like was it Chris Greer or was it Stephen Ross or Tom Garfinkel, because and I think he even talks about that he wasn't hired to be the heir apparent to Chris Greer, but kind of seems that way when he has a connection with Mike McDaniel, and Stephen Ross is like, if wheels fall off, we'll make that change. Again, that video is coming. Kelly views McDaniel as an offensive guru and an innovator when it comes to utilizing his personnel to the team's benefit. He mentioned the challenges Miami weathered through earlier this season, primarily the injuries that have depleted the Dolphins of their offensive line and weaponry, but didn't use them as an excuse for the team struggling early in the season. Good, as they shouldn't. This is what Champ Kelly had to say. He says, we've had performances that have not made our fans proud. And what I appreciate the most about Mike and these coaches and the players is that they have resiliency. They have to fight. They have a fight to them that is uncommon. And if we continue to collectively buy in, believe, and fight together, you'll continue to see outcomes like we saw last week against Buffalo. It starts with a belief, and then it turns itself into a behavior. If we continue to execute, play with physicality that's required in football, we'll continue to see results that we've all wanted to see and our fans deserve. Yes and no. I'll say this, and again, I go back and you can watch the video where I talked about Rich Eisen, and he had a former executive on there that talked about Mike McDaniel and how Mike McDaniel is a very, very smart offensive coordinator, but when it comes to being the head coach, he lacks. And that is, again, where me personally, my opinion is to move on from Mike McDaniel, because it's been 4 years and nothing's changed. And now all of a sudden, his job's on the line and you're seeing him get angry on the sideline. But at the end of the day, he is not going to stop being the guy who he is, and that team friendly, where we're at now essentially is because of Mike McDaniel's coaching style when it comes to being a head coach, right? The undisciplined, the penalties, the, lack of preparation. I said that, 33-8 blowout, the season opener. And then, you have costly penalties that are killing drives and turnovers, and it all starts at the top, at the head coach. So that's where I'm still at that. Kelly intends on improving the roster at every position however he can, and that journey starts with strengthening the back end of it. Since he's taken over, the Dolphins elevated 2 players, tight end Greg Dulcich and cornerback Juju Brents, Claimed off of waiver wire earlier this season, and both have filled more prominent roles. Maybe more waiver claims are on the horizon. But Kelly points out that the franchise has to build foundation of the team through the draft because of how financially taxing it is to build or supplement a team through free agency, which is usually how young players make the most of their career earnings. He says, I work as hard as I can with the mindset of winning, and that is in every situation. In Vegas, I have been with the team for a year and a half. I was a part of helping implement the structure, implement the scouting system, and knew everything that was in place. I was working with a head coach who was in his first time as a head coach and was doing things together. In this situation, I came with fresh eyes, things I was able to see here that maybe I would have glanced over if I was already in place. So, interesting. Now, I'm giving Mike McDaniel and Champ Kelly the rest of the season. I'm where I'm at mentally, though, with this team and with the front office is it needs to be torn down and it needs a fresh start. Because I'm not going to sit here and go through another 2-6 because, injuries. Because yes, injuries are certain things you can't really predict, but you can prepare for if you go and get a guy off Achilles season-ending injury. If you go out and you have Austin Jackson who's consistently injured and can't stay healthy. If you go out and get all these players that, yes, when they're on the field and if they're on the field consistently give you production, but at the end of the day tend to get injured and banged up. And apparently I found out that Juju Brents, the thing that you're hearing from the Colts, I think Omar Kelly asked them, is fantastic when he's on the field. So again, I'm hoping that changes with the Dolphins, but again, it's that mentality of what I just said. I'm hoping that changes. Just like I said with Jalen Phillips, I hope he can stay healthy because when he's on the field, he's good. Just like, some have said about Tua, just like some have said about how many of Dolphin players, when they're on the field, and we can't be doing that anymore. And then he touches, my brain is moving faster than my mouth can. And then he touches base on the drafting and how we haven't been good at that. Now, yes, we've hit on some pieces. Jalen Waddle is very solid. Jalen Phillips could have been solid. He's already had a good first day with the Philadelphia Eagles. Patrick Paul is very solid. We had solid guys in Andrew Van Ginkel and Christian Wilkins and Robert Hunt. They're not with the team anymore. So there are solid pieces, but for the majority of it, it's just we're not good at drafting. And the good teams are good and consistently good because they can draft well. That is essentially the Philadelphia Eagles. If you want to be successful like Philly, you got to draft well. And they do with Nolan Carter and, all the guys that they're able to pick up and build off of and not have to go out and give fat contracts to free agents because one, they already built the winning culture with drafting properly, but two, they're winning. And a lot of times when your team wins, you don't have to overpay for talent because they want to go to you because they want to win. A lot of times these NFL vets who are good already got paid, right? Like the Myles Garretts. And I'm trying to think of like other good players who have gone somewhere else and won. Myles Garrett's the first one that pops in my head. But like even back in the day with Tom Brady, where he took pay cuts to continue winning because he's already gotten paid. It's to him, it's not about the money anymore. It's about the championships. So he started not taking pay cuts to add more talent around him. And you will see that, and you've seen that with players go to New England, go to Kansas City, go to Philly, go to these teams, go to Baltimore, because they're winning. And they'll take less money to go win because they already made their money. They just want to win. Dolphins aren't in that situation. Hence the Ndamukong Suhs, the Mike Wallaces, the contracts we give out to potential really good talent that knows I ain't going to win in Miami, but they'll pay me. And we can't do that anymore. And that's where drafting and drafting well has to come in because you hit on draft picks. You got the young talent and you got them for 4 years at a very low price. And then you continue that revolving door. If you keep drafting well, then you can draft replacements and keep revolving. Hey, I want to stay here. I like it here. Okay, well, we're not going to make you the highest paid because we can draft your replacement. You see what I'm saying? Not threatening, but essentially being like, we're very good at drafting. We're very good at finding players. And that's what Philly is right now. Hence, Alex Hallaby. I think it's Alex Hallaby is probably going to be a very hot commodity when it comes to the offseason with teams that have opening for general managers. I think the Dolphins right now are the only team that has an opening for general manager. Correct me if I'm wrong in the description below. But again, Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, all of these teams, their executives are going to be hot commodities. So again, Champ Kelly, there's only so much he can do. He had a finite amount of time to make a trade deadline move. And now all that really we can look at and judge on him is like waiver claims. Because he can't make any more trades. He can't draft. There's nothing he could do from now till the end of the season to really give us a full understanding of, let's keep him as a GM, right? It's a lot of talking and a lot of waiver claims. So we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the season pans out. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Also, don't forget to check out Sleeper. You see him over here in the top corner. You also get POW, a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. And you get 100% match up to $100 if you use the promo code DDW. Go check them out. Love using them. I've showed you a ton, and I will talk about them tomorrow morning. But comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Again, I got videos planned out the wazoo for the bye week. So it's never a boring time around on this channel. Hit the subscribe button. But I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early, 9:30 in the morning. Miami Dolphins hosting the Washington Commanders in Madrid. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.